Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We had a lot of requests for a separate video on Dave's BMW 335D. So we're going to shoot it. This is not really a wrenching video at all, but we do have quite a few companies to thank for getting him this far. This is a 2011, 2010 car. He bought this and needed some work when he first got it. And it's needed quite a bit of work over the time here, but big thank you to Matt Santjer Diesel Performance, or Santjer Performance Development, excuse me, and S&S Motorsports also hopped onto this. So he just got this car back from Matt, and I'm going to talk about it because Dave's a little camera shy, but a lot of work done to it. The first stage when he first got this, stuff fell off, and then he shortly tore it up after that. What'd you do to it? You broke something.
We had that
injector?
It blew an injector.
Yeah, it blew the injector copper out of it. So then it naturally went to Santjer, and Santjer put some turbos on this. I think he also did some engine work too.
We did the intercooler.
Yeah. We did the intercooler, and then Santjer did some motor work. Once we found out the injector was blown, this is when the turbos got done.
Santjer did the turbos after we put dual pumps on it.
Yep.
And tuned it. It popped the injector out, and I can't remember. We couldn't figure exactly what it was, so I took it to Santjer. Santjer did the low pressure turbo and tuned it again for the dual pumps better, and put a bigger, I think, relief valve in it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Rail pressure sensor.
Okay.
And then it spun a rod bearing at Matt's when he was
test driving it. That's right.
it. And so it stayed down there, got rebuilt to factory with, I think, some minimal stuff changed in it. And then I got it back. And then we put the nitrous on it. We did the big intercooler in it. And then I put 4,000 or 5,000 miles on it, and then broke it again, and it broke a ring the second time. So it went back to Matt's. Now it has a built motor with aftermarket rods
and pistons.
Yep. And just a tuning.
100, and then
100 over from S&S.
So
fluid dampener on it.
Yeah. A lot of learning on this car, but Santjer's really been awesome. So as far as what David and I have installed, we did the dual pumps with his secondary lift pump as well. Dave did the cold air intake, so to speak. Under here, it's kind of hard to see, but there is a huge intercooler that he had to trim quite a bit of the bumper support out a little bit, if I remember correctly. And then the stock turbo, so it has a stock high pressure turbo. That's the one that's on the low RPM. And then the way this car works is when you get to a certain RPM, I think it's 3,800, 3,200, 3,000 RPM. This valve over here diverts and it runs on the big turbo, which factory they are 50 mil. This has it has a hybrid 60 millimeter turbo in here. And then again, the 100% over injectors. Now they took it down to, where'd you go? Down to Diesel Truck Wars.
Took it to Truck Wars. It got on fuel. I think we got it to 7.071, and then figured out the nitrous wasn't working at the time.
Did you wire the nitrous?
Yes, but it was a solenoid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so still.
Solenoid hung open, and then the second pass. The time we got to actually figure out the nitrous and get it working, it was too late to.
And then we also here at the shop did an 8-speed swap. So if you guys look in here, this pretty cool heads-up display, this LCD and knob here is custom transmission tuning from Santjer, and it has an 8-speed swap. So with the 8-speed, he's able to have a pretty nasty trans brake, and it doesn't slip in first like his 6-speed did. So we did do that at the shop. I got tasked with soldering it. That was
The TCU board in it.
Yeah, TCU board in it. Basically, it kind of acts as like a pass-through almost to the aftermarket transmission controller, and then Dave did all the rest of the wiring inside. He had, I mean, there was just wires everywhere. You guys could see some of the harness right here. But definitely not a faint of heart take on, however, very doable. There's his transmission controller, but very doable for most people. Honestly, the soldering I felt like was the worst part, and just take your time, make sure it's clean. And this is basically, we'll give him the credit. This is a 670 grocery getter. And what kind of fuel mileage do you get on this thing?
So I think with the 100 overs, I've been getting 32 or something.
And what did it get before the injectors?
Probably around town, probably 35 or so.
35.
When I came back from Santjer's the first time and I drove it home, it got 36 on the interstate with the stock injectors. I don't know if it's necessarily cut it down very far. It probably dropped it a few miles a gallon probably, but I also beat on it a lot more probably now with more power.
Yeah, and then it's currently on his street setup. He does have two sets actually of weld wheels. They do have the bead locks on them as well, with two different style of radials on there, or radials and slick.
Yeah, I have a GTR street and then a set of Hoosiers on it.
Okay, and then the only other thing really is I wanted to give Santjer a little bit of credit for all of his hard work and everything, so I'm going to read off some of the stuff that he has. If you guys have one of these, the other option is they do make a SUV. It's the 35 or X35D, 35XD. Yeah, X35D. It's an all-wheel drive version of this. It has the same 6-speed, same M57 engine, and a lot of the modifications cross over between them. The only thing that is different on the SUVs is the intake is different. But as far as that goes, when stuff comes to fall off, the SUVs require you to drop the subframe a little bit, but other than that, it's not too bad. And then here I'm gonna have Dave hold the camera. So again, on this car, like I said, the stock low pressure turbo or high RPM turbo is a 50 mil. Santjer did a 60 millimeter. For 400 wheel horsepower setup, Santjer recommends his dual pump kit with the second CP3, the intercooler kit, which you can get through Santjer, obviously his own tuning, and that'll still be on the stock injectors. And then he also will tune your 6-speed transmission as well. And then this AFE air filter. For the 500 horsepower setup, he recommends the hybrid turbos, and then obviously valve springs finally. And that's when he'll do your rail pressure sensor and your regulator. For 600 horsepower, which is basically what David has here, 100% overs, and obviously everything else up to this point, 100% overs. And then you can either run triple turbos, which I know Dave has talked about doing, or this hybrid kit with nitrous. And then obviously you need to make sure you have a 3-inch exhaust to get all of that airflow out. But we're gonna get this thing on the street, take you guys for a little bit of a ride. Seatbelts for safety, of course. Now, full disclosure, guys, I have ridden in this, and I've ridden in his SUV. They're both very cool for different reasons. This is definitely faster, but the SUV being all-wheel drive, I feel like does give you a little bit more, just puts you back in your seat. And honestly, without the radials, we really timed this video poorly, but
yeah,
it is pretty cool. And it's a real head turner. What's the wrap? Mistachrome?
No,
that's what everyone thinks it is?
Yeah, it's hidden forest vinyl or hidden forest green or something weird.
It is pretty cool though. It's blue and low light, and then it's like super green. Oh, look at that. We even get the ERPMS speedometer. Look at that. And we're dead. I mean, it scoots. It scoots. Pretty good brakes too, honestly. I gotta say. Notice a little bit of a growling noise coming from the back right though.
Shout out to Josh for helping me change wheel bearings.
Yeah, we gotta do a wheel bearing in this thing. So, and it, of course, like anything that's BMW, Not in stock.
Have to order everything.
I have to order everything. Yeah. Okay guys, so in closing, that was David's 2010 BMW 335D, estimated right around 550 to 600 horsepower when on nitrous, capable of 670 and probably a little bit more. I believe Santjer has gone very deep into the sixes, and I want to say, I'll edit this, I think he's made almost or over 1,000 horsepower on his personal triple turbo car. And then again, David has that one. And then Keeley has the X35D, which again is the all-wheel drive version. Those ones are not as fast just because they weigh a lot more. But big thank you to S&S Diesel and Santjer Performance Development. Again, Santjer is located on the very, very ocean side of Virginia. I think it's like Virginia Beach area. But Dave has now took his car there twice. Every time it comes back, it gets even nastier. Give this one a big thumbs up. Drop your comment, or if you have some more video ideas, I'd love to hear them. Subscribe if you are not already. And as always, I'll catch y'all on the next one.